Hey guys, so welcome back to the 2019 Black Orchid Book Awards. This is episode 3, and before I go any further, I just want to warn you, I will show you the nominees before I say the award, and there is a high chance of spoilers for the winners, so just be warned, if you see a book's name pop up on the screen, there may be spoilers. Now, the reason for this change is that now we're moving into the character awards, which I am really excited about. And I can't really discuss the characters, at least not the way I want to, without including some plot points. I'll try not to include anything too major, but there may be instances with that. Now, the first award is going to be the Best Protagonist Award. I really desperately wanted to give this one to both Apollo and Bod. This was a very close call for me. But at the same time, it's kind of hard to argue with a 400-year-old play whose protagonist has been interpreted probably at this point thousands of different ways and has been performed pretty steadily in all that time. So yeah, Hamlet. Hamlet gets the award for Best Protagonist just on level of sheer complexity and notoriety. Yeah. And I have a video where I do discuss this play in fairly good depth, so I'll link that one down below. Now, the next award I'm going to be discussing is the Best Antagonist Award, because I can't really discuss Best Protagonist and not discuss Best Antagonist. Now, the Best Antagonist Award, this was another one that was a pretty close fight because there were a lot of really good villains this year. Of course, there's Claudius from Hamlet, Caligula from The Tyrant's Tomb, Jack Frost from the Graveyard Book, but I decided to go with Sir John William Fairfax from The Screaming Staircase, mostly because he's kind of insidious. Like with Jack Frost, generally speaking, if you're not part of his specific hit list, he'll probably leave you alone. That is not the case with John William Fairfax. Oh, and the other reason that I didn't give this to Jack Frost, because he was my secondary choice, of course, is that Jack Frost is not actually in the Graveyard Book nearly as much as John William Fairfax is in The Screaming Staircase. He's there, but he's not as physically present, so we don't get as much time with him as a villain. And award number 3 for this episode is going to be Best Cast. This is another one where it could have gone to any of these nominees. They all have really strong casts. Like Riordan, the author of The Tyrant's Tomb, characters seem to be his greatest strength. He's an amazing writer, but that is like the peak of his writing for me, is his character development. And then Neil Gaiman, oh my goodness, like, yeah, his characters are wonderful. But again, it's kind of difficult to argue with a 400-year-old play that has some of the most famous characters in English literature. So, yeah, Hamlet. I have to give this to Hamlet. Like, Hamlet, Claudius, Ophelia, Gertrude, they're so interesting. You could take them so many different ways. And there's also an argument to be made for versatility, because there are lots of different versions of these characters, even if they're all still accurate. So yes, Hamlet wins the Best Cast Award. Now, next up we have the Best Couple Award, and there were some really good couples this year. But I decided to go with a couple that we actually see very little of, but what we do see is really amazing and beautiful, and that is the Oracle of Cumea and Harpocrates from The Tyrant's Tomb. These two have one scene together in the entire book, and they are so beautiful and adorable. Both these two are in very odd but difficult situations, and there's something about the way they find each other and just, I guess, help each other through it and support each other. It's really beautiful and adorable. Next award is Best Friend Award. There were a lot of amazing friends in the books I read this year. Like, the nominees that I showed you, that's a massively whittled down list of all the characters I had originally. That's probably like less than a third of the original list. It was huge. But I decided to give it to Horatio from Hamlet, mostly because he is the one person Hamlet has who he trusts. He's in a world where Hamlet can't trust anyone, not his mother, his girlfriend or ex-girlfriend, depending on what part of the play you're talking about. His uncle especially not. the only person he has is Horatio. Even his childhood friends turn on him when his mother asks them to. And Horatio stays by him. And not just that, but you can see that Horatio is genuinely supportive of Hamlet, and Hamlet is very open about the fact that he really does care about Horatio as well. They're very close. So yeah, Horatio wins for best friend. Also, that's most of what he's known for, is being Hamlet's friend, so that kind of has to count for something. And the final award for this episode is going to be the Deserved Better Award. This award goes to a character who really did not deserve what happened to them. There were a lot of characters for this list, too. I didn't whittle this one down as much, though. Yeah, you can see the list yourself. I decided to go with a very minor character, though, and that is the Fitz boy from the Screaming Staircase. Oh, this poor boy. Oh, my goodness. Like, he isn't given a name. He's just called the Fitz boy. And he's dead before we meet him. But when we find out how he died, it's like, oh, you poor kid. Oh, my goodness. You really did not deserve this. So, yeah, the Fitz boy from the Screaming Staircase has to win this one for me, even if a lot of characters this year could have won this one.